Hello, we have a quick video about how to get into the Halo Air Bolt. I searched the internet for ages and in the end just couldn't come up with a solution. It is a bit of a challenge, but the top cover does come off. What you need to do, if I just quickly show you the underside of the thing where I've already disassembled it. So basically that's the insides of it. It's a bit of a challenge to get the thing apart. So if I just show you on the top cover, so basically the top cover is a two-part item really. So what you have is a plastic sort of carrier and the outer cover. It's a bit difficult to show you holding the phone, but basically if you can separate them, this is what happens. So you have that cover that sits on top of the actual device, and then this cover here is actually the main cover, and what happens with that is there's these horrible little tabs that interlock with holes on the other cover, but before you can actually separate the thing, what you need to do is there's two tabs here, which is a bit difficult to focus on them, but that one there, and there's one the other side as well. You need to basically bend a locking tab here slightly, which I'll just point out with a screwdriver. So that one there, that little tab there, there's a hole in the side of the case somewhere around here that lets you put a tool in there and bend it slightly. Now as long as you can do that, and it may not be entirely necessary, what you can do is from the back of the case you bash the top plate forward. It's a bit difficult to describe, but basically if you imagine these little recesses here, that one there is basically a hook that clips round a little clip here where I put the screwdriver through. So when you actually push the case up or back from, well, bash it forwards effectively, it disengages those and then the top of the cover comes off. It is a bit of a challenge, shall we say, but essentially this is what happens. That sits on there, and then what you do is the clips here just basically sit in place, and then as you push it down you can see they're sort of starting to make contact. This one here, this latch, is the awkward bit. That sort of pushes down and across, and then once you've got that in place, the whole thing basically just slides backwards. So that latches over here, and once that's latched over, you actually force the whole top of this case forwards that way. So it's a bit difficult to describe, but essentially that all slides that way. So if you imagine it's up this way, so to disengage it you go from back to front, and then to engage it you do exactly the same. Push it down till those locking tabs lock in, and then slide it from front to back. But you know, it's not easy at all, but once you can force these two clips to disengage, which are on the back here, which these things, then you know, once that little tab there disengages around here, then that just pushes downwards and separates the cover. So once you're inside, basically you've got the standard sort of lithium pack. You've got a piggyback board here that does lighting and has the charging socket, which was the problem on mine, where basically there's a loose connection on it. So what you've got is just a piggyback board there with a little connector on the back of it, and then a connection to the main PCB, which has got the display, a little processor on the back to run it, and obviously various switches, and then there's the air pump as well for pumping up the tyres. And obviously over here you've got the sort of 2 USB sockets. So there you go. It's not an easy task, but you can do it without murdering the thing basically and wrecking the top of it. But a bit of patience is required, shall we say. And what I did was I actually used a 1.6 or 16 inch basically 1.6 mil Allen key to go in the side. And what you do is there's a little hole here just on the side, and there's one the other side, the other end of the product. With that board back in situ, what you do is you just slide it through, and then it hits that tab to disengage. But it is really fiddly, and the holes aren't really big enough for that little Allen key, so they will end up bigger. But same sort of thing, that side you push it in until you hit the tab, and then you bend the tab slightly while whacking the back of the case forwards. It's a challenge. Anyway, there you go, how to disassemble a Halo air bolt. And obviously I haven't particularly fixed this, it was just a bad joint on the charging socket which lives down the bottom there. And I've just resoldered the joints on it, and that was fine. Hope it helps you.